right, boys and girls, we figured it all out. I am here with a very special guest host, the pride of New Jersey, even though he won't claim New Jersey on his sweaters. One of the stars of Syracuse hockey, what's that, 1982? My buddy, Dr. Chris. Hey, Chris, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm good, Kenny. How are you?
I spent the day on the links. I got myself a little suntan. I can't complain. I spent the day, where my Devils are.
Actually, I was going to say, which one of those guys were you out there with?
I wish I was out there with them. The rest of them are at the World Juniors right now.
Mm.
You know who I was out there with? Mikey McLeod. Unfortunately, I don't remember the back nine. And I woke up in the clubhouse. I don't know what happened.
Go there, but if you wanted to bring it up, I mean,
no, I get to make the joke because he screwed my team so bad.
Yeah, I gotcha. And that's be a hell of a prison league with him and Carter Hart and goal, and
that's like the longest yard of hockey right there. Like they do well. All right, so because I have somebody else from the East, which is a rarity because everybody else who comes on this show with me is from the Dallas, Texas area, and it's go Stars, go Stars, go Stars. Okay, no. Yes, go Stars, because honestly, I don't need to see the Avs win again. Nathan McKinnon's honestly the best player in the league. Yeah, McDavid is technically, but McKinnon's got the hardware. The hardware that matters, the rings that matter. So let's go to the East, man. What's your takeaway from Toronto-Boston? Is Toronto really just going to, blow it all up again?
That's a great question. And, I was walking down the stairs here and just saw Boston put the first goal in against Florida here. So
that's a great call.
If I'm Toronto, I might be paying attention to this series because I don't know too many people who had Boston picked over Florida. I know I did, and I had Florida kind of steamrolling them. And as a Rangers fan, I thought that that the competition would be go through Carolina, and then you got to go through Florida, and then eventually, and it's a crapshoot in the West. But if Jeremy Swayman continues to play this way,
we're 17 minutes in it. We're 17 minutes into game one, not even. You're talking a 1-goal lead. It's, Florida's out shooting Boston, but yeah, you're right. If, Swayman plays like Hellebuck played in the regular season, like he's been playing in the playoffs so far, you're going to have a hard time getting anything past that guy.
Well, this is the issue. I mean, this is now I hate to step on your toes a little, but it's game 2 now. And if Boston wins this one, they win 2 in Florida. And
you're right. You're right. I misread it.
Not if they go back to Boston up 2-0, I mean, it would take a Rangers versus Devils like collapse from last year to crap out those 2 games in your own building. I don't know. Boston is just so weird. But again, to answer your question, Toronto has got to make changes. They invested, almost $45 million into 4 players.
Keep going.
That probably higher than that. So the reality is you got guys like Mitch Marner who are tremendously talented. But when William Nylander's yelling at him on the bench that, hey man, this ain't juniors, this is because he's complaining and you got a little bit of, I don't want to call it infighting, but Toronto needs to make some changes in a salary cap era. This would have worked fabulously, when Doug Gilmour was running around with Wendell Clark, about 30 years ago. And then they could have brought in some defense.
The 2 of them you're talking 2 team players, man. You're not talking 2 guys who are like me. Like Mitch Marner is, no matter where Mitch Marner goes, you better make sure he's the only star on that roster.
Which, to me, that's
because that's what he's going to do.
I disagree with that. Here's why. I think if Mitch Marner's coming on my team, I'm sitting down with him ahead of time and saying, you're a team player, buddy. You are no better than anybody else on the team as far as how you belong and how you fit here. And he's going to have to earn it. I see Mitch Marner kind of as a seriously high-priced talent who he shouldn't be asked to be in any type of leadership position. I wouldn't count on him for really anything.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, but I'm telling you, even if your GM makes the call, you're the head coach, right?
Right.
Your GM makes the call. Say you're John Tortorella of all people, because John Tortorella is probably the person in the league who's going to put up with him the least, outside of Rod Brendabor and maybe Rick Tocchet. Like maybe those three are probably like the worst possible landing spots.
Correct.
Whatever teams they're coaching. But Mitch Marner, like even your GM signs him. You say that to him, you sit him down. You're going to end up with like end of Phil Kessel in Toronto before they traded him, and he just went, "Oh, that's right, I do play hockey. Let me score a bunch of goals."
Yeah. I think the more I look at the Toronto lineup, they got lucky with picking up Benoit for dirt cheap.
Oh, that was a steal. That was a good steal.
A total steal. But Morgan Riley didn't show me much, and he's their high paid number one. And then McCabe's good, but they just they struggle on defense. Their goaltender got hurt. I'm tired of making excuses for Toronto. I get it. It's the New York Yankees of hockey.
Even when they're good on it, and when they're good on defense, their offense struggles.
Yeah, there's the pressure.
There's no winning.
Yeah, and they haven't won a cup in forever. Like literally, I mean, what is it? I think it eclipsed when the Rangers didn't win from 40 to 94. What is it, 67 to now?
I think it eclipsed this year.
Okay.
I think it is. I think it's 67 or 69 to now.
Yeah, and I remember the pressure that those Rangers were under in 91, 92, 93, 94 till they finally did it. I can't imagine what it's like up in Toronto.
Great Ranger teams. Those were great Rangers teams.
Yeah.
You know what it took though was you guys needed to get everything out of Edmonton and then get Mike Keenan there to yell at them all.
They needed Mike Keenan. Messier soured on Roger Nielsen, and Nielsen they just didn't get along. And Messier moved him on, and then they got Keenan.
End of the day, that was Messier's team.
Absolutely, 100%.
Like it doesn't matter who your GM is. It doesn't matter who your coach is. That was Messier's team.
Yep. Messier kept that all together.
Greatest captain in the history of the NHL.
I think he's the greatest leader in all of organized sports. I mean, I got a hard time finding somebody in a different league.
We'll come back to that in a minute because that's actually a really good conversation. But now we need to jump to your Rangers. I sent you a picture. You made fun of it. You laughed real hard. I told you I was going to bring you on the show to talk about it. Trouba, to me, still, like, dude, I sat down, I watched the video. It still looks like he was going to try to hit somebody in the head with his elbow no matter what the fuck happened.
He was trying to light Natchez up. Was he trying to light him up? Yes. As I told you earlier today, anybody can cut a picture of anything at a certain angle and make it look different, let's say. Now,
context is everything.
Oh yes, context is absolutely everything, and like I said, when you're looking to solidify objective fact, you need context. Now that being said, you want my take on Trouba? Here's my take on Trouba as a diehard, lifelong New York Rangers fan who has seen every game since I can remember. Now, Jacob Trouba is making $8.5 million a year as the captain of the team. His production. Okay, you can argue with me that he doesn't have to light it up on the scoreboard, that he does other things. I watched that game last night. He took 5 penalties in 2 games. He's been in the penalty box constantly. He made the turnover that gave Carolina the 3rd goal to go up 3-2. Okay, to make that comeback necessary in the first place. He is visibly slow. Matt Rempe should be hugging him, saying, "Thank you, Jacob, for not making me look like the slowest player on the ice." Now, does he have experience? Absolutely. Is he good in the locker room? He must be. They made him the captain. Is he a nice guy? Yeah, I'm sure he's a fabulous guy. In talking with Barclay Goodrow and Capo Caco at the Rangers casino night, they had nice things to say about him as a player. And I didn't think they were going to badmouth him. But let me tell you, Barclay Goodrow is one of the most down-to-earth, he was telling it like it is, type of dudes. I think he's being exposed as a liability on the team. I think he's mediocre at best. And then if you were to tell me that I had Jacob Trouba on my team at DeAndre Miller's price, Yeah, no, price tag at $3 million a year. Okay, somewhere between
beautiful.
2 point.
That's
I'd
a
say, you
great
know what,
price.
sixth pair. He's already been dropped down to the third pair. Okay, so I get it. Trouba is known for the big hits. He was a big hitter in Edmonton. His production was a hell of a lot higher.
He was a big hitter in Minnesota too when he was there.
He's not the type of guy though that I think as he's especially against Carolina, he's being exposed. I think he got hurt. I get it. At the end of the year, he came back. He was terrible. That's what dropped the line. But I can tell you,
especially when on the other side of the ice, the veteran you're looking at on the other side is Brent Burns.
Yeah, Brett, 39 years old,
and what is he doing?
Yeah,
he's lighting it up. He looks 28. Like
it's
not literally 28. 28-year-old Brent Burns was a monster, but he looks like a standard 28-year-old starting defenseman in the NHL right now.
He doesn't look 39. I can tell you that much. I mean, that whole team though. That team is conditioned so well. I mean, they're like their coach.
It's Rod Brindamore. Brindamore. And I hope. Hold on a second. I gotta say hi. What's up, Rico? Dumb Sports Steak says the Rangers are cursed. By the way, that's another one of our affiliate podcasts here. And then Uppity Yankees fan says the Rangers frustrate me so much sometimes.
Yeah, the Rangers frustrate me too, and I said all along, as a psychologist, I've been wanting to leave business cards in that locker room for a long time because. If you look at last
year, you went to casino night. Why didn't you hand out your cards, dude?
I was too busy in like little kid mode, to be honest with you. It was
you got the celeb goggles.
Oh my god! My display with Adam Graves was terrible. I mean, I was literally like Ralphie from The Christmas Story, sitting talking to Santa. You want a football? Like, oh my god! And I'd met him before. Oh my god! It was just so yes. But
I love it. That's like me. I've met Martin Brodeur probably 20 times in my life, and every single time it's the same reaction.
Yeah, seriously.
It's it's him.
Wayne's World. We're not worthy.
You're not worthy.
and so, but listen, the Rangers. I think that's why I give Peter Laviolette. I always knew Peter Laviolette was a good coach. I didn't realize. And I knew it in the first power play goal when the Rangers scored it in game 1, when they did that tic-tac-toe, all people touch it. They had been practicing. They knew exactly what Carolina was going to do on the penalty kill, how they were going to press each person individually. It was get it and go, get it and go, get it and go. It was like Princeton basketball from 30 years ago.
Peter Laviolette studies video so well.
God.
That Flyers team that went to the Stanley Cup should not have been there. They should not have been there. And it was all coaching. It was all coaching. So you guys got the right guy, I think, to get you over that final hump, for lack of a better phrase. I think Laviolette's the guy to do it. I thought Tortorella was a weird fit for you. Like, if your team was younger, it would have made more sense at the time. But for the age of your team right now, with guys like Zibanejad, which I hate to admit this, but I actually like Zibanejad. I think he's a fantastic hockey player. He's one of those guys, you never see him do the wrong. You never see him do the wrong thing. You never see him make like the bad decision.
Right.
You always see him make the right decision. Which is what I like about Mika Zibanejad. Also, what I hate about Mika Zibanejad, because I'm a Devils fan and I got to see him 6 times a year do that same crap to my team. Panarin, actually, this I think is the most I've been impressed with Panarin in the playoffs.
Right.
In all honesty, he didn't have to do it when he was in Chicago. You had Taves and Kane at that point in time, like along with Duncan Keith. Who else was still there? There was a lot of people.
Seabrook. They were loaded. Marian Hossa, even though he was wearing down.
Yeah, like his skin was peeling off because he couldn't wear equipment. Like, that's the craziest story ever.
Yeah.
But I have never seen Panarin play the way he's playing. Like, he's playing very responsible two-way hockey. I didn't think he was capable of that. Like, in all honesty, like as a Devils fan, when he was linked to the Devils, I'm like, we already got PK Subban, who's a defensive liability. Do we need another one?
Yeah.
but he is. I don't know if it's Laviolette. I don't know if it's just him maturing. But he basically got the Claude the Jacques Lemaire treatment. Like he just somehow or another figured out, oh, I can play both ends of the ice.
Yeah. I think his commitment this year, especially now in the playoffs, and it's funny you talk about Panarin with last night's game. Trocheck obviously his first star goes the game-winning goal. Shesterkin was Neo from the Matrix from halfway through the third period right through the overtimes. The third star of the game, I'm trying to remember exactly who it was. I know it wasn't Panarin, but here's my point. Panarin had 3 points last night. Okay, and so as much
and
as
he was quiet, I watched most of the game.
Right. But he still had a 3-point night. I don't think he scored 3 points last night or last season against the Devils total. I think he had 2 points, to be honest with you. I'm going to look that one up later. But I think he only had 2 points for the series over 7 games. And, he had 3 alone last night.
They did a really good job last year shutting him down. The one we couldn't stop for some reason was Chris Kreider.
Kreider and Zibanejad. You want to talk about why I'd leave business cards in the locker room, and those are the 2 guys. You talk about Mika. For real. Those guys are just the most mercurial. I don't they look depressed sometimes, and their head's not in the game. And then other times you're like, oh my God, these two are insane. They're so good. They are best friends on the ice, off the ice. I think they're fragile mentally. But this year, I got to tell you, and again, I haven't seen them lose yet. I mean, knock on wood, I won't see it too much. But that those two get affected by losing. I think Trouba ended up as the captain based on last year's exit interviews. And we're not talking interviews with the team. I'm talking with the press, where Kreider and Zibanejad were in tears. They were beside. They couldn't understand what happened. You couldn't understand that they didn't try for 4 games. And Trouba was like, pretty even keel. Let me tell you, this is what happened. This is what we did wrong. He looked like he had the right the question for the Rangers clearly have the talent to win. They have all the right talent at all the right spots, defense, center, goaltending, superstar wing. But do they have the mental makeup? Mark Messier said it best.
You got superstar wingers, you got superstar centers, you have probably the best young defenseman in the league in Adam Fox.
Yeah.
You got a superstar goaltender. If you guys can't get it done with this roster, I don't think you guys can ever get it done.
I agree with you. I think that looking at how things are playing out right now, they're up 2-0. So, anything can happen. We've both seen it all. We know that. But they do. I looked at the team last night when it was tied, and I was talking to my wife, who's a big Rangers fan, and I said, if they lose, who are we missing?
She's only a Rangers fan because of you, and you know it.
No, she's a Ranger fan. She's smart.
If she was smart, she'd be a Devils fan because the only team that's won cups in her lifetime is this one.
Yeah. Well, we'll table that for now. But I said, who are we missing? Like literally, who could the Rangers get where I would say, you know what, that's going to put them over the top? They're structured to win right now with this team, top to bottom.
Gabriel Landeskog.
Mm.
You need no. You need that locker room voice. Is my point.
You know who? Well, it's funny you say that. You know who spoke in between the overtimes last night? Jonathan Quick. I can't remember who said it, whether it was Trocheck or even Trouba or somebody on the Rangers in an interview said, in between there, Quick was the one who got up, spoke to everybody, commanded the room, commanded attention, and said, stick to the game plan. We've got this. Don't deviate. Stick to the game plan. So I think they have somebody in the room. If it were me, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
What you guys are missing is that Jamie Benn. You guys are missing that Gabriel Landeskog. You guys are missing that even a Steven Stamkos, which I think he's coming to you guys next year because Toronto's not going to be able to afford him.
I don't want him. I'll be honest with you. I don't want him, Kenny. I don't want a 33-year-old guy with 1,000 points. I want a 23-year-old guy with 200 points. Okay, there's something to be said. Unless you're Dallas, I know there's a lot of Dallas listeners. I don't know. I think the Fountain of Youth is not in Florida. I think it's in Dallas. Okay, I got to take a trip.
You're not wrong. Like look at that roster. I mean, it's guys we would think right now should be pushing up daisies of the NHL, and Jamie Benn
That looks fabulous. That guy looks like a machine. Tyler Sagan. Listen, they got Sagan on the third line. I understand. The Dallas, to me, has a problem when you only can run out 5 defensemen. Okay, they need Yanni Hakanpää back in the worst way. Niels Lundqvist, thank you guys in Dallas for taking our first-round bust off your hands and giving us a pick for that, a high pick at that. But he's not an NHL defenseman. He's just not. He just can't impact the game. And Colorado, with all that firepower,
he holds his own.
Niels Lundqvist,
he's not going to change the game. You're right. He's not.
Niels Lundqvist, to me, he's a slightly better skater than Zach Jones on the Rangers. I know what the Rangers did. They looked at Zach Jones, they looked at Niels Lundqvist, and they said, we can only keep one of these guys. They invested in Zach Jones, and he had a better end of the year. But the Smurfs don't do it too much anymore on defense. They that little puck moving defenseman, unless you're Cal McCarr's not small. I mean, that guy, but you're just not going to get tiny defensemen running around anymore. You got to be physical. The fast.
Luke Hughes is, and when I say small, I'm talking NHL small.
Right.
He's still 6'2", like 180 something pounds. He's going to put more weight on. He's going to end up the size of Quinn.
If you went to, I guarantee you, what we should do.
What do you think about this pick? What do you think about this pick? Here's a really controversial opinion. I think Luke Hughes deserves the Calder over anybody else. Luke Hughes.
I think you should get your blood checked for red dye seeping into your bloodstream and affecting your line of thought. I think
that's fair.
If you're Connor Bedard, you're looking at Connor Bedard compared to Luke Hughes.
Here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Who had more turnovers? Bedard.
Okay.
Who possessed the puck for longer periods of time? Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes was only a negative 29 because 25 of those goals were empty net goals, which count against your plus minus.
Okay.
So realistically, he's a -4. Mm-hmm. No, obviously it's going to go to Connor Bedard. Yes, I'm making a hot take here because I need to make a hot damn take because I think Luke Hughes, if he doesn't finish second, it's a travesty. Like Connor Bedard is Connor Bedard.
I think to me, and again, yes, if that's a hot take, you should stop, drop, and roll, big boy, because that's a little too hot.
Hey, listen. I lost about 50 pounds now, so let's go, baby.
That's good. That's a good thing, honestly. But Bedard to me is a generational type of player. He's Luke Hughes. Listen, if we got ultrasound photos of the Hughes' mom, I guarantee you there's a skating rink in her abdomen because
there has to be.
I don't understand. Those guys can skate in level, and they're just so smooth. All three of them.
It's effortless.
It is. And if Jack's issues, you got to stay healthy. Jack's got to stay healthy.
You know, it's going to be real fun for us, for me and you, because I'm not taking no for an answer. You have the giant projection screen in the basement. We are watching the next Winter Olympics, every Team USA game, because it's going to be the 3 Hughes running that show.
When is that scheduled to come out? When is that scheduled for?
I think it's like this. I think it's this year. No, next year. Or
next
2 years. 2 years. Sorry, 2 years. Because Paris.
The reason I bring that up is because when Jack Hughes played in the All-Star, and wasn't this year, last year, he was on a line with maybe it was even 2 years ago with Tom Wilson and Chris Kreider, and he was like, "This would be my ideal line." And honestly, if you had a maniac like Wilson on one side,
that line.
No, yeah, seriously. I can't imagine that line. You'd have a high-end playmaker, a just natural net front presence goal scorer, and just an insane maniac who's going to run out, and anybody who breathes on Jack Hughes is going to end up, in the emergency room.
So we're talking Gretzky, McSorley, and then the rotating door of wingers that he had in Edmonton that were all skilled.
Yeah, Robitaille, Korri, he had Glenn Anderson.
Oh, I forgot Luke Robitaille was there. Or no, he was in LA.
No, Luke, it was in LA. Gretzky had but McSorley went with Gretzky from Edmonton to LA. That was part of the deal.
That was the deal. That was the deal. Yeah. Gretzky said he'd veto anything if he didn't have his bodyguard.
Yeah. Messier was talking about McSorley when he made a comparison to Rempe. He said that Glenn Sather would get these big old farm boys and bring him in the fall and say, "Oh, I got 6 months to turn him into a hockey player." Rempe didn't not be this year, but he'll be all right.
I got to be honest with you. Since round 1, I've kind of grown on Rempe. He's actually played a solid defensive game.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to be a fourth line forward, that's what's expected of you.
He doesn't play after. Yeah, he doesn't play after the 30-minute mark, of the game. I personally,
unless you guys are up by a lot.
Well, I think if Phil Hedl is actually medically ready to go, and the word is that he's medically cleared, he practices every day. If his legs are building up, I get it. They're not going to change the lineup until they lose a game. But if you got a healthy Phil Hedl that you're inserting now on the fourth line with Barclay Goodrow, or even you put him on the third line and you drop down, I don't know if I'd move Kakko. I don't know who I'd move, but imagine Hedl on the fourth line with Barclay Goodrow and Jimmy Vesey. I'm putting them out.
That's a great setup right there for you guys.
And Phil, check. Just check. Don't worry about offense. I put Hedl in the middle, Goodrow and Vesey on the two wings. Hedl's 6'3". Right. He's not small. So
yeah, he's not. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about size on that line.
Yep.
So what do the Islanders do now? Because those guys managed to walk backwards into the playoffs. We touched on it. I touched on it with Adam. 2 weeks ago, but I'm like, I don't understand how you even have. I love Lou Lamoriello. You know why?
As you should.
But maybe don't let 80-year-olds run things anymore.
Well, yeah. Are we talking politics or are we talking hockey here?
We're talking hockey, bud. We're talking hockey. We ain't getting into politics.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't help it.
That's a volatile subject.
I think I probably offended both parties on that one, but the reality is the Islanders' window closed, and when Sorokin's game fell off this year, Matt Barzal stepped up. Matt Barzal played really, really well. But
I like him, by the way. I don't think he's worth the star status that he gets because he was a big pick for them.
He stands out on that team, though.
He'll stand out on any team, but he's tie game. Florida just tied it.
All right.
He'll stand out on any team, but he's that Nico Hischier type, where he just plays a great 200-foot game. And I don't think I've ever truly seen him out of position outside of his first 2 years in the league.
Barzal or Hischier?
Honestly, either.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen either of them out of position since their first 2 years in the league.
Yeah,
they just played a great 200.
I think Lamoriello has to go and to do what Glenn Sather did, which is get into that advisor role on some team, okay, where you're not making the final decisions. Glenn Sather's still around somewhere, with the Rangers.
Chewing on cigars in a
hanging out with Jim Dolan, playing guitars, kicking people out of Madison Square Garden for no reason.
Exactly.
But they're a team that's going to have to rebuild. Pittsburgh is going to be rebuilding, in my opinion. I think Philly's, based on this performance.
I think you're wrong on Pittsburgh.
With Pittsburgh?
So and now you could tell me I'm crazy right off the bat. I think O'Keefe's getting fired.
Okay.
And did you see the AI video? I sent it to you, but you're not on Facebook, so
no.
It might not have translated. It might not have gotten over to your phone. But it's essentially somebody did an AI overdub of Sheldon O'Keefe's press conference after the Game 7 loss. And he goes, "My team fucking sucks. They gave up on me. Mitch Marner cries on the bench. Willie Nylander doesn't want to show up till Game 5. Austin Matthews leads the league in goals. And he decides he wants to take Game 6 off because he's got a bellyache.
No,
that's it.
He had an ocular migraine. The guy couldn't see.
and then they just go, and then the AI goes, it's Sheldon Mickey going, Shanahan, I quit. I'm going to Daddy Dubus in Pittsburgh.
Listen,
like,
Kenny, I got to run here. Unfortunately, I got some stuff I got to take care of here, and I hear rumblings coming from upstairs.
I'll get Ashton to jump on here in a second. Then, but do me a favor before you go.
Yeah.
Give me your pick for both second round East game or not games series.
I'm biased with the Rangers. I do think that as much as I'm going to have to get blood pressure medication in my IV or IV, whatever, they're killing me. I think they are going to find a way to come through. I do think it's that they better not sleep on Carolina and think that they got this series wrapped up, or they're going to find themselves in Game 7 real fast. But I do like the Rangers coming through against Carolina. I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to stick with what I picked, Florida. I think Florida will eventually just wear down Boston with firepower. Bobrovsky, I think he'll be all right at the end of the day. I like Florida in 7, and I like the Rangers in 6.
Okay. I have both those series going 7 at the onset of the playoffs, and I'm going to stick with that. I had the Canes in 7, and I had Florida in 7.
What do you got in the West?
The West, I still have the Stars coming out over top of Colorado. I think the Stars they'll figure it out. They had a goose egg Game 1 last series. They'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got Edmonton coming out. I got Edmonton winning the whole thing, in all honesty, because I think Edmonton, if they do not win the whole thing, we're talking Connor McDavid goes on the news and says, trade me or I'm burning down the building.
All right. So I got Dallas in 7. I think Dallas is going to Dallas and Colorado are going to rock and roll. I think back-to-back 7-game series are going to cost Dallas in the conference finals.
And that's why Edmonton's going to go through.
I got Vancouver. I think my old Ranger buddy JT Miller is going to do a job on Connor McDavid.
All right.
I think he doesn't get enough respect in the league and I am livid that we gave him away to Tampa Bay when we did with him and McDonough. All these guys have been super successful. But anyway, I think Edmonton's going down. I just think that there's a tremendous amount of pressure for them, and I agree. There's going to be a phone call. Hey, Connor, it's me, Mitch Marner. Connor, what are you going to do? I don't know, Mitch. What are you going to do? I don't know. You want to go to the same town? And they both end up in Anaheim.
Oh, Chris, I'm going to steal you for 5 more minutes then, since you made that hot take. You're going to have to defend that.
Okay.
Because that is, you think Anaheim?
That's
you think Marner? You think Marner and McDavid in Anaheim? Because I have another crazy theory.
Okay.
I think it's going to be McDavid and whoever the hell he calls.
Well, I think.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Salt Lake.
Oof.
Because those owners have this.
Yeah.
And they're willing to spend it, bud.
If I'm Connor McDavid and Mitch Marner, let's take the theory that the two of them go somewhere together. I'm looking at an up and coming superstar player. I don't think they're going to Chicago because I just don't see them as Chicago players.
They're not. Yeah, they're not gonna be able to afford them in an hour.
But you got Anaheim just got I can't remember the kid's name who forced the trade out of Philly, who lit it up in the juniors.
Cutter Gauthier.
Yep. They got a couple other real good young players. I think if they can figure out a way to get them down there, offer them, again, I get it, California taxes, but then again, Toronto and Canada taxes are worse than California taxes, if you can believe that. But media market, there'll be gods running around down there.
In Salt Lake? Yeah, absolutely. Those two in Salt Lake.
in Southern California.
No, I'm telling you, Salt Lake's going to be the spot for them. You got to think. You got to think about it. Like warm, lower taxes. Like
warm. You want warm and lower taxes? They'd be in Nashville.
No, warm and lower taxes. There's no taxes in Utah, but like you're a 45-minute drive from being warm. Anytime you're in Salt Lake, I've been there.
Yeah, me too. But I went skiing. That's my memory of it. Listen,
fair enough.
Those guys. I do agree with you, though, Kenny. If Edmonton doesn't go through this year, they're gonna. Toronto and Edmonton are gonna be on the phone with each other, probably going, "What do we do?"
It'd be really funny. Austin Matthews and McDavid go to Utah and win a title the first year.
All right, Kenny, listen. Austin Matthews and McDavid go together somehow to Utah and win a title in their first year. I'm on the record. You name the golf course anywhere in America, I'll take you. It's on me.
Augusta.
Done. That's how sure I am. I'll even buy you a green jacket to walk around in.
I'm positive it's not happening. It's perfectly fine. But Ashton, this is my buddy Chris. Chris, this is the man who runs Peak One Sports, who's given me this wonderful platform.
Ashton, nice to meet you. Thanks for allowing me on.
Yeah, no problem. No, y'all are doing a great job educating me. I don't know why he wants me to jump on here. I'm not a hockey expert at all.
He's got to go to dinner, and I want to hear your take on the Stars. How can I say this? Pooping the bed.
Well, as a Cowboys fan, it's nothing new.
I mean, that's fair.
I think it was a really good game overall. It's just when you take a 3-0 lead in the first, you're kind of thinking you shouldn't go that far ahead, but you're kind of thinking, okay, we got game one, and then they score 2 quick goals, and you're like, well, crap, maybe we have to, and then basically 0 shots on goal the last 5 minutes of the game, pretty much not any good shots on goals anyway. And then
everything was outside.
You knew going into overtime. I had no confidence that they were going to pull it out.
Actually, oddly enough, Chris was with me when I got this autograph here from Stan Fischler.
Oh my God!
What does Stan Fischler say about a 3-0 lead, Chris? What is it?
Was that when you blew out your Birkenstock running past Newark Penn Station? Oh yeah, that's right. And you're yelling at us the entire time. You guys are leaving me. And all I heard was Stan Fischler signed my jersey. Stan Fischler signed my jersey. And I'm like, let's go, Kenny. Come on. Listen, fellas, I gotta run. But thank you so much.
I'm gonna let you sign off with this. What does Stan Fischler say about a 3-0 lead?
I don't know, Kenny. What did Stan Fischler say about a 3-0 lead?
It's the worst lead in hockey.
But especially so early on.
Chris, thank you for joining. Have a great night, man.
Fellas,
enjoy your dinner. Tell Caitlin I said hey.
Will do. Take care.
All right, buddy. Bye. But it's the whole. I did not see that coming. Like, you guys were so dominant.
It's happened a few times this year. I kept it on. I was watching more Mavs, which was another disappointment for many other reasons. So, of course, I have YouTube TV, so I had it on split. But when the Stars were up 3-0, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to the Mavs. I'll go back and forth between commercials. And then really it started getting close. So I started paying more attention to it. And then by the time, the Mavericks were out of it, I think that's what hurts the worst is the Mavs just, late. They played okay in the first quarter, but they just kind of laid an egg. And then I'm like, well, at least I have the Stars. They're going to get a win, and not so much.
No, they just. And here's what I think it is. I'm a Devils fan. Obviously, I'm wearing the jersey. Pete DeBoer was our coach. Brought us to the Cup Finals. Brought the Vegas Knights to the Cup Finals. The problem I see with Pete DeBoer, is he's very bipolar in terms of the results he gets out of his teams. Like, his teams either and it's like bipolar game to game. It's not like season to season. It's, like what you're saying, watching them give up leads, watching them come back, watching them blow the doors off a team, watching them get the doors blown off of them.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it was kind of the hallmark of his era in New Jersey, at least as a Devils fan. So far, what do you think of DeBoer as your coach? I mean, you've seen him for what, 3 or 4 years now?
Yeah, just about. And I mean, you take him to the Western Conference Finals last year, which was a bit of a surprise. We thought that was a couple of years away, and now this year, obviously, it seems like he's probably better in Game 7s than he is in Game 1s. I mean, if this is going to take,
better in Game 7s than he is in Games 1 through 2.
Yeah, and they started off 0-2 against Vegas. So I mean, maybe I'd rather not go down that road, just because then you're like, oh, so the stress and the stress of watching them have to come out of that hole. But I mean, if they can at least keep it to Game 7, I'm confident the Stars are going to win a Game 7 until he loses.
I got to be honest with you. Me and Chris had the same take. We still think it's Stars in 7.
Yeah.
And he's an East guy. He was going to come on. Bo says Pete DeBoer doesn't stay aggressive throughout the game. You know what? I agree with you. That is my complaint. I had touched base with Adam. Unfortunately, Adam had something come up. He might be able to hop on later if Ashton, when you guys are doing the show later, you want to call us in. I'm down to do a little quick segment. But
I'm actually not going to be on that show tonight because. Like, I just texted my wife. We were about to walk out the door, and I'm like, I got to help him out real quick. So, that's why I'm jumping on with you for a few minutes. Keep going.
All right.
But yeah, for sure. No, you're good.
He doesn't stay aggressive. It's like, I went to Ohio State. It's like watching Trestle ball. I'm a Giants fan. It's like watching Coughlin ball. Like, you got to keep your foot on the gas if you want to win. That's what winners do. It's what Urban Meyer did. Mac Brown did that for you guys at Texas, University of Texas. You don't take the foot off the gas if you want to win. And I feel like Pete DeBoer is the type of coach that pulls back just because he can.
Yeah. I mean, you try to take advantage when you're up in a game, especially so much. I mean, you don't expect it to just take a complete 360, or I guess a 180, 360 would be the circle, to take a complete 180 and lose. You're like, okay, hey, this is great. We can rest, maybe rest a little bit, keep them fresh for moving on throughout the playoffs. But you make those decisions in the third period, not the first period, unfortunately. And maybe it's a wake-up call where he's going to be a little more on that. So if the Stars get up early in another game, that he's going to think, okay, we were up. 3-0 in the first is big as a lead you're going to get in the playoffs that early.
I mean, so there's a little bit of history there. I'm glad you brought that up because I was eventually going to bring that up.
Okay.
So in 2012, when the Devils made the Cup run, we didn't win, obviously, because Jonathan Quick, someone gave him crack for the whole playoffs, and you couldn't come near the net and score anything. But Pete DeBoer, that series against the Flyers, we went down that first game. They did not play well at all. Game 2, Devils came out, like I think we lost 4-1 game 1. Game 2, they came out and they put 6 goals up on the Flyers. It was like 6-2. Like like Ilya Kovalchuk had 2 goals, Zach Parise had 2 goals. It was a monster performance from everybody you needed to perform. So I think what you're gonna get come game 2 for your Stars here, and this is for your lovely Dallas audience here, I think you're gonna get the opposite of what the Cowboys have done recently, which is kind of just roll over and die.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get, and I think it's going to be led by Jamie Benn. I think you're going to get a Jamie Benn 2-goal, 1-assist performance. I think it's just going to be Jamie Benn's just saying, I'm not losing today. He's going to pull a Matthew Tkachuk and just go, we're not losing. I'm going to win the game by myself if I have to. That's the other thing is, what do you guys got going on down there that you guys have the fountain of damn youth for the Dallas Stars? Your team is the oldest team in the league.
Yeah, and it's been that way for a couple of years. Actually, they do keep getting more and more talent. Like I said, last year was kind of a surprise. We knew they were good, and we were thinking, Stanley Cup contenders in a couple of years. Not quite there yet, and obviously they got their doors knocked off of them in the Western Conference Finals last year. And then this year, who knows? Obviously, they had a great regular season. I don't know. Man, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a hockey expert, so I really don't know the front office stuff. But damn,
I don't know how you guys
get some of that around the Metroplex.
Oh, it's not. No. I need some of it up here in Pennsylvania, man. Like dang, if I could look as good as these boys, these guys are my age. I'm 36 years old. These guys are skating around like it's nothing. Jamie Benn looks like he's 24. Like, he's not scoring like he used to, but like, holy crap, he's owning and commanding the ice. Which I said it. I wish Chris was still here and was available longer, but I couldn't get the stupid stream to work with his phone. But I said it to him probably 7 years ago. I'm like, if I'm building a roster, I'm building it starting with Jamie Benn.
Yeah.
So that's before McKinnon became McKinnon, when McKinnon was kind of
And the Stars. I mean, Jamie Benn before the last couple of years, he was just looked at as he was really good, but he was starting to get old, and we're like, man, we're paying him way too much. And Sagan as well. We're like, man, we have to get out of those contracts. And I guess we got a lot of youth and, not having to pay young guys top dollar yet. And then I think maybe it revitalized Jamie Benn a little bit because he has gotten a lot better. But like I said,
even Tyler Sagan looks younger.
Yeah.
Your team's led by a whole bunch of 33 and older guys. Like, this is unheard of.
33 and older or 24 and younger. Like, there's no in between. Just old guys and young guys.
So I'm going to be hypercritical here as a hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jake Ottinger's performance. I think that loss is. I want to blame Pete DeBoer because I do not like Pete DeBoer. I think he held the Devils back and kept them in that mediocre position for too long to try to all right, cool. We're gonna either be bounced in the first round or get a really terrible first round pick. He kind of kept us in that because he couldn't decide if he wanted to win or lose every game.
Yeah,
but I think Jake Ottinger cost you guys that game.
I'll leave you with this because we're literally about to walk out the door. But I'll leave you with this thought on Jake Ottinger. I can't remember if it was the second or the third goal they gave up, but it was a breakaway, and Ottinger should have stopped it.
100%. Yeah, I know exactly the goal you're talking about.
I know. I mean, but he's a professional. They didn't have him off balance. He had it straight up. He should have stopped that goal. And I'm sure he'd tell everybody exactly the same thing if he didn't, in media yesterday. But yeah, hopefully, the Stars can get back in it, and for the Avalanche, for their sake, they better win in 6 games or less. Because if they get to Game 7,
if you get to Game 7, you're not winning. You're not winning in Dallas. Yeah. That place was electric.
Yeah, but I'm glad I could jump on and help you out here. But I gotta go.
Love you. I got Dan over here. Hey, have a good dinner and. BT Dubs, send me one of them hats I was telling you about.
I got you.
Or tell me where I can get one. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you.
All right. See ya.
Bye. All right. So we're gonna welcome one of my best buddies. We went to AIT together. We learned how to fix helicopters together.
What's up, Battle?
My ears are broken because of the time we spent together. But this is Mr. Neon Super Shrimp.
What's up,
Do
guys?
yourselves a favor. Follow him on Twitch. Follow him everywhere he's got. Dad, do me a favor. I hear your fiance does a really good job training dogs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, my girlfriend Korri Bennett, owner operator of the Dapper Dog Academy, located here in DFW, turning unruly pups into proper pups. She's awesome. I love her. We've actually got a couple of pups in here right now. We got like a mini Aussie, and we got a Rottweiler. That's actually kind of a repeat offender. We get her back quite a bit. So, but yeah,
Well,
always a good time.
That brings a better question. Wait, your fiance like takes dogs in and to the house and then trains them at her house and then sends them back fixed?
Yeah,
for
pretty
lack of a
much.
better phrase?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
that's
pretty much
freaking cool.
do it out of the house here. Yeah. Haven't
I
we've
didn't know
been
you guys
working on
came in
trying to
and
get
housed them.
another property, another house that has kind of a separate building on the backside on the land that should be able to do like all of our training out of, so we don't necessarily have to do it like out of our own house. But for now, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing and everything. So it's a
Well,
tight
no, I
ship
didn't know
here
you
for us,
guys housed the dogs too. I thought it was like she would come to
No,
your
no,
house
no,
and help
yeah,
you train your dog.
no, she's got a I might be lying to you, but it's either a 2-week, I think it's a 2-week program where she basically takes the dogs in for the 2 weeks and trains them over that time, and then you get your dog back trained.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so
But
definitely
so
a sweet
I gotta give you a minute to say your Let's Go Stars. So go ahead. You got it.
man, to be honest, I got a little bit of a story for you. I'll repeat it twice because I'm gonna tell the story again later on the sports page. But so my girlfriend and I are hanging out. Corey's originally from Colorado Springs. Not really like a huge sports fan, but because I am, she's doing her part to try and enjoy the same things I enjoy. So she'll watch the sports with me.
Let me and her talk because I went to hockey camp in Colorado Springs like 4 years in a row.
Yeah. And so she's not a big football fan, but she does love her some hockey. She's actually a pretty big hockey fan, and
I dig it.
So she was actually kind of excited that the Stars and the Avs are playing each other in the playoffs and everything. So we sit down to watch the game last night. I got me some wings and everything. We're chilling on the couch watching the game, and before you know it, first period's nearing the end, and it's 3-0 Stars, and she is just livid. She is upset. She does not want to watch this game anymore.
Oh, she picked the team.
Yeah.
She went from no fan to she's an Avs fan. Okay,
she's always going to root for the Colorado teams because it's where she's from, and I can respect that. So
obviously,
so she's pretty upset going into that first period. So she takes the dogs outside. She gets away from the game and everything. Second period starts. She doesn't want to come back. She doesn't want to watch the game. I'm like, all right. So I'm watching the game. Avs score, and I'm like, text her real quick. Like, hey, Avs on the board, 1-3. She's like, whatever. Not interested. Right. A few minutes later, Avs get a power play.
I got to be honest with you. That's the greatest because that is exactly my daughter's reaction.
No, I'm saying, right? So then a few minutes later, it's Avs power play. I text her again. I'm like, got a power play coming, Avs score again on that power play, 2-3. So she's back in the house now, but she's like cleaning and she's like watching the game out of the corner of her eye. And like acting like she doesn't care.
Oh, doing like the I'm not watching, but I'm watching. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
Got you.
So when we get into the third period, Avs score, tie it up, and I'm like, this girl, I swear to God, she sits back down on the couch, edge of her seat, and she's like, "Oh my God, we could totally still win this thing." I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I tried to tell you from the first period. Stranger things have happened in sports. like. It's only the second period. I mean, I know it's 3-0, but like stranger things have happened in sports. It's fine. Like, don't worry. Just
my gosh, really?
So now it's going into overtime, and she's like cheering, yelling on at the fucking TV and everything. Like, oh come on! And then you can tell me who it was, but whoever the Avs player was that managed to get the breakaway there, and I'm literally like, oh no.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I don't remember. I went to sleep.
Yeah, but as soon as it happened, right? Like out loud, she's not saying a word at this point, and I see it happen. She goes, yes. And I go, oh no. and he
Oh
scores.
no! Now you got to live with it. Now you got to live with it.
Come on. Right. But I was telling the boys, we were texting beforehand, and I was telling them like she's an Avs fan and everything. And Ashton was like, as long as she's a good sport, this could be a lot of fun. And I was like, oh, I'm not too worried. Like if her team loses, I don't think she's a big enough sports fan. She's not going to care too much. But if her team wins, she will be unbearable. And damn it, last night,
100%.
and like all day today, she's like
100%.
Like, oh, so how about that game last night? I'm like, don't even. You left the game. You didn't even care. Didn't even care.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. My daughter was. I had my kids yesterday, and I was hanging out with both of them. We watched the rerun of Monday Night Raw. By the way, if you haven't watched, go watch. Great episode. And Lily was just hanging in my room with me, and she was scrolling on her phone and saw a video of Jimmy, not Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Justin Timberlake, and she goes, "Is that like a normal thing they do where they sing together?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Lily, for like 15 years, that's kind of been like their shtick."
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Can I have your controller?" And went into like, I'm like, "Oh, the game's over. Nothing's gonna happen." And then I get an alert from ESPN, and I'm like, "What the hell? It's tied?"
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, and I like went back, and then I tried to watch, and I just went. It was just at that point, I'm an hour ahead of you guys, so I was just like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
it
was already a late game.
To get those guys on the bus this morning.
Yeah. Oh man.
But that said, so what do you think your Stars do this round? You think you guys got it?
I still have faith. To be honest, when the game started, they flashed up kind of a stat. I can't remember the second part, but I remember they threw up that the Avs had the number one scoring offense in the playoffs so far. But they were also giving up. I want to say it was either the most or the second most goals in the playoffs so far. So they were struggling to stop scoring as well. And I was like, to be honest, this should end up being a great series with Dallas's offense and a real test for Ottinger. I had a wager going. One of my parlays had Ottinger under 2.5 last night, and I totally believed in it. The
under 2.5.
Obviously, the third.
You should text me next time.
Yeah.
Like, bro, text me. I would have told you not to take that.
I mean,
I don't ever take.
I definitely wasn't
anything under 3. You never take anything under 3.
I mean, Ottinger's average
in a game 1 though. In a game 1, you never take anything under 3.
Yeah,
because everybody's feeling each other out. So it's, I mean, if you're super confident, it's a coin flip. But I would have told you, I'm like, I see that game going 4-3. I don't know who's going to win.
Honestly,
but I see
I had put the game on a 3-2 Stars win. I didn't think Ottinger was going to give up
all honesty.
3. Yeah, so I mean that was really why I went with it, and Ottinger's averaging just under 2.5. I think it's like a 2.4 or something like that.
That's not a bad prediction.
Yeah, so I mean, I was feeling pretty good about it. He wasn't the only one that actually came up short on me. It actually had the Rangers pitcher the other night going under 4.5 hits against the A's, and he ended up giving up 7. So that one hurt me too. So. But yeah, going into that game, it was just, especially once they showed the Avs like potency on offense, but their also their ability to give up goals. I think this can be a great, like probably a pretty high scoring series. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm hoping it's a high scoring series.
Yeah.
Here's the problem: is both your rosters have top end talent at the back end. So it could be a high shooting series that there's not any goals. Like you could be talking 45 shots, 52 shots, and a 3-1 or a 3-2 game. Like we could be talking a goaltender battle for the ages.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's definitely the possibility that Ottinger and I'm going to say his name, Georgiev. Thank you. I mean, there's a real chance that, like you're saying, we have a high number of shots on goal, and those guys just brick wall for the whole night, and you end up with a 1-0 game. very possible. I'm not gonna lie; those two guys are very, very capable of putting those performances up. But I mean,
here's
just
the problem,
compared
though.
to the potency of the offenses, is just it's going to be tough for them to give up one goal or less really in a game, in one of these games.
Oh, you're gonna have you're talking an offense run by Nathan McKinnon, who before you hopped on, I was telling Chris, I'm like, if I'm starting my NHL roster today, I'm starting with Nathan McKinnon because I think he does
my girlfriend's favorite player.
97% of what Connor McDavid does at a 35% discount. Like, you don't got to pay him $20 million. You don't got to pay him Pat Mahomes money in the NHL.
I mean, they were even saying last night, anytime McKinnon's on the ice, he's, crazy dangerous. And I was like, man, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, the guy's everywhere. Right. I mean, he knows how to make himself dangerous. And, to be honest, he was more quiet last night than I was expecting him to be, but he definitely made his presence felt, whenever he stepped onto the ice. He
wasn't as quiet as you think he was, is the crazy part.
No, I just mean as far as points,
No. He did the first pass to set up the next two.
Yeah.
And kind of drew two people to him. Doing
for sure. He was definitely.
I mean, we played. Remember the flag football when they threw you out? When Drill Sergeant Dover threw you out on the out at a wide receiver because you drew two. Because when you were playing quarterback, you had the run. You had the run lane, so you drew two people to you. They're going to throw it to him.
Yeah, I broke a rib in that game. I'm still the only person I know that's broken a rib in a flag football game. Yeah.
Holy crap! Do you remember we won that tournament though, right?
Yeah, we did. That's what made it so sweet. So I was fine, but it made the weekend suck, man. I broke one of my ribs. I was like, ugh, it's miserable,
dude. Could you? I can't even imagine sneezing with that.
No, man. I woke up in
Florida just pulled ahead. Holy hell!
Oh, did they? I haven't even. I've been half watching the Knicks game as well. Man, honestly, I think it's kind of cool that New York's got something similar going on, like Dallas does right now with their basketball team and their hockey team, both in the playoffs right now. So, although the Knicks are looking,
don't get me started. I rooted for the Knicks for 1 year after the Nets moved from New Jersey, and then I just gave up on basketball. I just didn't care, and now. My son decided he's a 76ers fan because we were in Philly, and admittedly, very pretty girls gave him T-shirts. The Sixers,
that's how you win a fan.
The Sixers were in the playoffs, and he was just like, "Oh, it's 3-1 now! Holy crap!" With 0.3 seconds.
Wow.
But yes, so that is how my son became a Philadelphia 76ers fan.
Man,
Ashton says, don't be a baby, Dan. It's just a rib.
No, you're right. I mean, I suffered through.
Hey, Ashton, when I come down to Texas to visit Dan, you gotta feel all the broken bones in my face. I didn't miss a game for any of them, Dan.
I mean, I finished playing the game.
In fairness, he finished the tournament and won the tournament as our quarterback, Ashton.
I broke for the record on the very first play of the tournament. I did like a scramble out, and our rival company against us is supposed to be a flag football game. And instead of pulling my flag, this kid with at least 100 pounds on me, big, beefy dude, just blasted me in my side. And I slid 5-10 yards across the grass, I remember. And I got up and I was like looking at the drill sergeants that were supposed to be the refs. And I was like, this is supposed to be a no contact game, but they were Bravo drill sergeants, and it was Bravo that we were playing against. So they let it go. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll beat you with your own rules. And I mean, we won the tournament. So I mean, whatever, but man, I woke up the next morning and I was like, I went to sit up and I was like, and like fell right back down. Like,
my favorite part of that story is I was not on the field during that play, and Drill Sergeant Dover was asking me to help him run the offense for you, and then hit me in the head when he threw the clipboard when he thought he was throwing it toward the damn refs. He just like right in the side of the head. Just
I remember.
It's like a daggone TikTok video.
Yeah, he got real pissed.
Oh, he was livid, dude. That they hit you. And no, so
It was a great tournament.
if anybody wants to know, me and Dan went to the United States Army Logistics School, which handles aircraft maintenance and truck drivers and fuelers, apparently. And Bravo Company is the company. And us over here, we're crew chiefs because we know what we're doing, baby.
Yeah, I think weren't they
That's
like
it.
Iowas or something stupid.
No, Bravo Company was the truck drivers.
Were they? I couldn't remember
Yeah.
if they were like weapon armament or something or Kiowas. I thought they were Kiowas, something with Kiowas. To be honest, I couldn't remember. But I believe you, man. It's been so long.
Yeah, no, they're 100%. I only know this because oddly enough, Shoe Chuck sent me a video of who was the big black drill sergeant who was, I hate to say this, but kind of dumb, but like super country.
Don't make me lie to you, man. I'm so bad with names, even.
All right. Either way, she's like, "Holy crap!" And it was him like in our building, in our barracks, like a year ago. And I was like,
Oh wow.
"Oh my god!" Like the paintings on the wall are still the same. Like the murals, no one's ever changed them.
That's the Army for you, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's it. All right, Dan. Before I let you go, man, what do you think? What do you think? And I might pick your brain on the NHL draft for 5 minutes, but what do you think? What do you think happens, Edmonton, Vancouver? Because I think that's going to be what does the WWE call it? A backyard brawl. I think that those two teams are going to beat the absolute piss out of each other because it's Canada.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I feel like whenever you pit like a couple of Canadian teams against each other, there's always kind of this natural rivalry that, you know, who gets to represent Canada the best.
Well, it's also
is always kind of a driving force. It feels like
it's also two rival provinces,
right?
You got like oil country versus what oil country looks at as the rich people, who are the Vancouver Canucks in British Columbia, and British Columbia looks back over at Manitoba and Alberta as like, oh, those are the poors.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's what I'm saying, right? I mean, you kind of get that natural rivalry between. I mean, really, I feel like, because exactly what you're saying, there are already rivalries in their provinces and stuff. But when you get this opportunity to kind of like represent Canada at the top, you know, even if you had like every Canadian team, they all want to be that top Canadian team. They all want to, you know, represent themselves and Canada as a whole as, you know, the best team. So I totally agree with you. I think this is going to be like a real bloody knuckler. You're going to like. I'd like to think it's gonna be a great series. Probably go at least 6, but I'd like to see 7. Because I think it was you that even posted for us on Facebook or whatever. But like nothing really beats Game 7. Like when you got a Game 7.
No.
There's
that was Adam. That was Adam.
Winner
actually,
go home. It's the best. Oh, was it? See, even better. He's completely right. You know, Game 7, winner go home. This is it. You know, like. It
doesn't even matter the sport. Game 7, win or go home. Like,
even non-fans tune into Game 7s.
I have that. That's my problem I have with the NFL. Like, you want to add regular season games. I have a much better idea. Add playoff games.
I mean, I feel like the playoff bracket's already like deep enough. I mean, like at best, you got to play 3 or 4 games.
Oh, no. I'm not saying add more teams. My argument is do like I don't know, your last two in each conference have to play a 2 out of 3 play-in.
I feel like it's just harder to do the.
You're right. It is. Like football,
just because
it's much harder.
Of what football is, yeah. But I mean, in all honesty, I feel like there's an argument to be made for it, just because of like, I would argue that the physical demands of hockey are equal to, if not a little more than, what is football. But I mean, I feel like you might have some people that would. I mean, there are NFL players that actually think that playing hockey is more violent than playing football.
Oh, it is, but the difference is in I will gladly post videos. I'll pull them up. I have interviews, and Ashton said, "Yeah, basically like the NBA's playing, Tony. I like that. Yes, that would be great for the NFL." But so since, and this is honestly, in my opinion, the worst hockey take of all time. Don Cherry once said, the NHL, and when I say once, I'm talking, you see this scar in the middle of my head? About the time I got that. So it was after I was out of the Army. Someone's stick hit me in the forehead. Yeah, okay. So about 4 or 5 years ago, Don Cherry goes, we should like have NHL players stop wearing helmets because, we didn't have this many concussions before they started wearing helmets. So now people are targeting heads because of the helmets.
No, see, now
and I'm like,
into it for me.
I'm like, are you out of your damn mind?
Yeah. So
like Don Cherry is also 97.
Yeah. Well, I think this
Not
is really
literally,
a
but
conversation to have. You opened a Pandora's box for me here. So I got really into studying like concussions and CTE when I was going to college and stuff. And I actually read the book Concussion that like the movie was based on that had Will Smith.
Okay. I haven't watched it, but
the book is really, really good. It's very, very informative. It blew my mind in the sense that like I honestly didn't realize that like CTE was discovered in like 98. You know what I mean? It was like the late 90s when they like discovered CTE. So it's like when I'm in high school playing football, I very distinctly remember like being taught to tackle by like leading with the crown of my head and driving through guys. That's how I was taught to tackle. They definitely don't teach that anymore. Now it's grab guys, wrap them up. And in my opinion, I think this is stupid that the NFL is like now going to penalize this, but like you would like sit down or, drag them down or something like that.
Let's talk about that. I'll hop on your show later, but no, as a hockey player.
So there was this part that talks about
as a hockey player was what you want to do is keep your elbow in. You don't put your elbow out because you're not intent to injure, but you want to get them right in like the chin and chest, like the whole you want this to hit this.
Yeah, their whole breastbone. Yeah,
and the face, and now we're talking wearing cages. But yeah, no, we were taught like we're not aiming high, but yeah, like if your head hits them, your head fucking hits them, man.
Right.
See,
this is the difference with football. It was talking about it in the concussion book, and it shows kind of the history and the evolution of the football helmet. Whereas they started with no caps. Then a few players started wearing like leather caps, and then the leather cap evolved to a plastic shell. And then over time, actually, I think this is really interesting too. I'm almost going on a tangent here, but the reason they added face masks to football helmets, a Pulitzer Prize winner actually, he won the Pulitzer Prize off of this series of photos that he took. It was I can't remember what bowl game it was, but it was Nebraska versus Oklahoma. Nebraska had one of the first black players in college football. He was a running back. And on this particular play, this running back isn't actually in the play. So when the ball is snapped and the play goes to the left, he's to the right side of the quarterback. He doesn't actually move, but his head turns. And this white linebacker blitzes him. And you can see in the picture with his fist, he drives through this guy's face and just broke his jaw, right? And this guy won a Pulitzer Prize because from the press box, he got a series of pictures where you can see the guy blitz him and punch him in the face. And after that, they added face masks to helmets. Now, the downside here being that once they added face masks to plastic helmets, linemen started to use them as a weapon and started to like come off the ball and launch their heads into each other and so concussions started to become more and more prevalent as the like football helmet kind of reached the peak of its evolution. And that's when you kind of started having like real problems in the 60s and 70s with defensive players, because they would the big one that they talk about is Mike Webster. He was a center for the Steelers in the 60s with Terry Bradshaw, but he actually would wear the same helmet in practice that he wore in games, and it would have like cracks and stuff in it and all kinds of like dents and whatever. And he wore it like a badge of honor because that's how violent he was coming off the ball and everything. Unfortunately, he suffered a ton of CTE in his career and, you know, has a very kind of tragic end to his story and everything. But it's kind of crazy. But there's a little bit of point to be had there for like wearing helmets. It's both protective and can be dangerous in the way that it makes players feel protected, and so they do more, you know. So I mean,
I see where you were going on that. That's in all honesty a fantastic point. And that's just a horrible story.
Love me some sports history like that. That's one of my
favorites. That is in all honesty, like that's a horrible sports story. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's crazy.
I had another point there, but like holy crap. All right, so, you know, there's a few hockey players that have gone down the road of CTE. Sure. Derek Bugard. Everybody, I think, in Dallas should remember him from his run with Minnesota. He played you guys, I think, 2 different times in the playoffs. But yeah, man, like, check your heads, guys.
Right. Yeah, take care of yourself. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely not the same kind of taboo nature as it used to be to you know, just accept the fact that, I mean, honestly, back in the day, it used to be kind of a badge of honor and be like, oh man, I got my bell rung, and you just stay out on the field. Now it's like, man, if you see some bright lights or you got your bell rung or something, go take a beat.
Well, Dan, I was born in 1987. You know how many games I played with grade 3 concussions?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I mean, even in my day, man, it was like I remember
you're younger than me
and continuing to play with like a mild headache or something, you know, and it's like, you know, in hindsight, maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't have.
There's like 12 games in a national tournament that I do not remember because I got cranked in the head on my way through center ice.
Well, that's one of the major
back in those days. Back in those days, it was taught.
Yeah,
aim to the head. Like, all your hockey coaches were like, no, aim at their head. You're going to knock them off the puck. Aim at their head. So now me as a hockey coach and a referee, I've always taught my kids, aim at the hands. Separate them from the puck. Yeah. You might crash into their body too, but the point is you want them off the puck. Like,
yeah,
what's better? You laid them out and you're on top of them on the ground and somebody else has got to pick up the puck. So it's essentially a 0 win, or you make good contact and you move on. Like, you know, and that's what I'm seeing, you know, now with my kids playing, my nephew, or I'm sorry, not my nephew, my father's stepson. I guess he's my stepbrother, but I'm 36 and he's like 8, so I don't count that. Seeing that age of football, they're like teaching them a much different manner of, instead of, you know, you were taught like lead with the head. So what they're teaching them is like face, like head up, which is, you know, hockey's taught that since 1994 when Paul Correa was the captain of Team USA. It's always like, hey, if you're going to the wall, head this way, because worst case scenario, you're getting a concussion. You're not getting CTE from it. You're not getting crack in your neck. Is that what you guys are teaching down there? Because now we've morphed into another conversation, because this is actually a good conversation.
I mean, my tackling was literally, it was crown of your head, lead with your helmet, and drive right through the middle of them, hit them in their chest, as best you can and just drive right through them. It was literally like a face down, like lead with
hit him right in the gut, try to make him puke.
and run right into the center of them as best you can. So I mean, try to get like under their chin, under their face mask a little, and like just fuck them up, But
I mean, you guys are kind of the gods of youth football down there. Like, in all honesty,
I mean,
I just moved into. I just learned that I moved into the the area that is the gods of like wrestling, like collegiate style, not Greco-Roman, like freestyle, like whatever that one's called. And then I did some research, and I'm like, holy crap. Because my buddy Mike said it to me, and I'm like, he's actually not lying. It's like The Rock went to high school like 10 miles from here. Like this whole area is like the mecca of high school wrestling, which is really cool because we can connect on that one. That said, how many games do you think it's going to take the Stars to bounce?
And to be honest, going into game one, I was really hoping this was going to be a 5-game series for the Stars. I definitely
thought
think
5.
I thought 5
wow.
for the Stars.
Okay.
I was being cocky, I guess.
I started at 7.
Did you?
I started
honestly,
at 7.
That's probably the better place to be.
And I backed myself to Stars in 6.
Yeah. Honestly, after that last game, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes 7. You still think the Stars will take it, or you got the Avs?
No, I got the Stars. Quite frankly, you guys, I know the Avs have that championship pedigree, but you guys have acquired enough guys with the championship pedigree to teach that young core the championship way and keep them like, no, we're not going to OBJ it and go do a bunch of blow on a boat in Miami instead of showing up for the playoff game. No. And OBJ, in all honesty, has learned his lesson from that. But no, I think you guys got the right crew there. And I think you guys, I hate to give Pete DeBoer credit. I think you got the right coach, but I think you guys are going to get trounced the next round. Like, it's not going to be pretty. I think it's going to be the Oilers versus the Panthers, and I think it's going to go really quickly the Oilers' way. And if it doesn't, I think McDavid's going somewhere else. You weren't on. Ashton was. My buddy Chris was on. Excuse me. We ran through. He's like, if I'm Mitch Marner, I call Connor McDavid if the Oilers don't win a cup. And I'm like, that's not a bad phone call to make.
Yeah,
because both of them, Mitch Marner is gonna be able to opt out, and McDavid's gonna. It's Connor McDavid. If McDavid says trade me, you got one of two options: trade him or trade him.
I mean, honestly, the way the season ended last year for the Stars, I had pretty high hopes for them coming back into this season. They're performing exactly how I, would have wanted them to and everything. I think you're totally right. This team's like primed to win a championship. The crazy thing to me, though, is that the talent across the league last year it feels like the league this year is much more potent, much more competitive than it was last year. And going into the season, I had really high hopes for the Stars kind of running it back to get back to the playoffs and hopefully taking it all this year. But man, it just turned out to be a lot more competitive, much more bruiser this season. I feel like just very, very, very tough fought season across the board from like a lot of teams. So
I honestly
it's definitely going to make the
surprised.
Stars' road to the Stanley Cup Finals like a tough one, because I agree. Getting over the Avs isn't even the biggest opponent that you're going to face on your way, and the Avs are good. They're stacked, so I mean it's going to be a tough haul no matter what.
I was honestly surprised with like the slow start the Stars had. Since we talked mostly to the DFW area, but I was very surprised at that. I definitely had you guys coming in hard, and I think the Stars kind of like came in soft.
Yeah, they're floundering a little. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking round one.
Yeah.
Which to me that's on a coach. Like, but
that's what I'm saying. Like it seems to have carried over just a little bit into this Avs series too, and you can't keep doing that. You're gonna have to get it right. And to be honest, I blame the loss last night on the Stars because I'm not necessarily sure if like the Stars came out in the second period and decided to like throttle off a little bit, or if the Avs came out and they just throttled down enough that they put the game back in their favor. Either way, like it was kind of the Stars' fault for either throttling down or not catching up to the Avs and what they were attempting to do in that second and third period. So I mean,
Pete DeBoer's never understood how to do this.
I mean,
he waits till it's too late. And he's done it for the Devils. Oh, we were up by 3. Now we're down by 2. Let me call a timeout.
Right. Yeah. Regroup something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like no, you call it. Yeah. Call it when they score
after that
2.
second goal or something. Yeah. It's like
call the timeout.
Let's
call the timeout.
Let's talk about this a little bit. Yeah.
Like shut shit down. Get everybody together and be like, yo, if y'all keep fucking up.
Right, this is the way
we're doing a bag skate tomorrow. So a bag skate is like doing suicides, like when you like carrying weights in football. But like just get them out there. But you still got your Stars winning in 7. I got them in 6. Because I think you guys are going to do it before then, and I think they're going to surprise you. Like in all,
I'd love for him to get a little extra time off, but we'll see.
No. There's
already been 9 game 7s so far, so
I don't think they're getting any time off because I got Edmonton doing the same thing to Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
in the exact number of games. Like I don't know if you got a different number there.
You might give the Stars an extra day off just because the way the games are staggered. So.
But they got
2 days off instead of 1, but
they got to realign. They got to realign them. So the Stars are going to get. They might get an extra game because the Stars have the earlier series. So right.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But all right, Dan, you got anything you want to plug before we go? I know. I'm assuming I'm going to hop on a little bit and give a hockey take on the main show.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome to come join us here. In about 20 something minutes, we'll be kicking off the sports page every Wednesday night. Feel free to drop us a like and follow. Follow us all on all social media platforms at Peak One Sports. And we'll be talking a little Rangers, little Stars, little Mavs, and actually, I got a little bit to talk here about the Kentucky Derby and NASCAR too. So we'll have a little bit.
I actually have something I got to send to you, by the way. It was a Rangers pitcher from like 1994 who today they would have done Tommy John surgery, but instead he took 14 months off and rehabbed it with physical therapy, and then went on for another like 12 years. I gotta find the exact picture, so I know who exactly it is. But like, that's a question I got for you, for someone who's played baseball. Like my mom made me play baseball. I didn't ever actually play baseball. Like, you think that's a real thing?
I mean, I've heard of like stranger things happening. I do remember. I can't remember his name, but I do remember hearing a story about a pitcher who was like missing some kind of muscle or tendon, what it was in his elbow.
You mean a whole
and
hand?
so like Major League Baseball didn't really want to touch him. He eventually got a chance because actually he pitched for Team USA like in the Olympics right before he was going to Major League Baseball. But then just before he got drafted, he had gotten a physical and they found out he was like missing this whole tendon in his arm, which I guess should have made it where he couldn't turn a doorknob. But he managed. I mean, you know, whatever. So, I mean, there's, I mean, and man, the human body's so crazy, weird like that. There's, you know, some people, you know, get away with not needing things and whatever.
Well, no.
So, I mean,
The take I want is if you agree with Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan says the Tommy John surgery is unnecessary, and he like put out a bunch of other people who have done it too, all the way back to like the 40s.
Sure. I mean, I love Nolan Ryan and everything. I'm only going to disagree with him in the sense that like it's very similar in my opinion if you look at like ACL, MCL, PCL type injuries in football and that kind of thing. And it's not that, I mean, for the most part, you know, 20, 30 years ago, it's a career ender, that type of injury. It could be the same way for, you know, someone who needs Tommy John back then in baseball.
Except Tommy John,
you know,
back
it's a surgery you can be back, you know, next season kind of thing. I mean, it's definitely a long recovery process, but it's not the death sentence that it used to be. So I mean,
well,
the only reason I'm going to disagree with him is because I'm going to say I don't think everybody could rehab it. Some sure, but not everybody.
Right. So, you know, I understand where you're coming from. Because Nolan Ryan's like, well, you know, I know I did it. This person did it. This person did it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know,
so,
I hate to.
It's like trying to compare somebody to Tom Brady or, you know, Patrick Mahomes or something. It's like we're talking about the top tier caliber of player, you know, compared to, you know, the rest of us mere mortals trying to play the kids game down here on Earth.
Like at the end of the day, you know, like obviously Nolan Ryan is.
But I mean, Nolan Ryan's also the same guy
like,
that
45. 45 like when he.
But I mean, he's the same guy that tore that muscle
in Texas.
He tore that muscle and needed Tommy John, and he threw one more pitch just to see if he could do it, and it still came in at like 100 miles an hour. So I mean,
the dude's
immortal.
Monster.
It's not real.
So you know what? I'm a Mets fan, so you're going to give me credit for this. This is the only time you got to do it.
For being a Mets fan,
Tom Seaver and Nolan damn Ryan, two of the greatest pitchers in Major League Baseball history.
And then you let them go to
also that they are both from the state of Texas. That's what. Hey man, the Jersey Texas connection, man. We should be a tag team. That said, it is 4-1 Florida.
Nice.
Oh, Adam just got home. What's up, Adam? Dan, if you don't mind calling me and Adam in later, I can call Adam in now, but your show's starting soon, so I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah, man.
Because that's a better idea, and also I'm now realizing that I got way more sun on the golf course today than I thought I did.
Nice.
Nice. With that said, give us a like, give us a share. Peak One Sports. Dan, give them Korri's, the Dapper Dog. Give them where they can find them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Find Dapper Dog Academy on Facebook. Book your consultation today. Korri's got over 10 years experience working in the DFW Metroplex. We're located here in Cleburne, Texas. So if you're looking to turn your unruly dogs into proper pups, give us a shout. Schedule that consultation today.
And hey guys, I'd normally give you my betting advice, but I'm pretty sure we got somebody who does it better. Do you know who that might be? I don't know.
Oh yeah, you want me to shout out Betalytics? Yeah, don't bet with
your
gut.
Bet
with your gut. Use Betalytics. Feel free to get on there. They use algorithms and all kinds of other smart people technology to help you make the best choices, to help you give the best chance at increasing your bets. So go to Betalytics.com, use promo code PEAK1 to get 25% off your subscription today.
Yeah, guys, don't bet dumb. We all bet sports. I know a lot of you guys bet Dallas sports.
Oh, for sure.
I know most of you guys bet against Dallas because that's the smart move.
Boo.
With that said, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to Shut the Puck Up.
Right.
From now on, I'm gonna call y'all puckheads.
All right, I like it.
And we're gonna call it a night, guys. Love y'all. Have a
All
good
right, thanks,
night.
guys.